Thanks, Deb. Happiness, the state of being happy. But it is also described by words such as joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, pride, amusement, awe, love, or my personal favorite, as defined by Aristotle, human flourishing. What if I told you that by simply being happier, you could change your life? I mean, literally, increase your productivity, your creativity, your decision-making skills, your success in business, and perhaps even improve your health. From Time magazine to researchers at Harvard University to transformational speakers and writers, the subject of happiness is pretty popular these days. Now, you might think that this is, as Joel says, a woo-woo talk promoting New Age philosophies. It's not. But you might find some of those practices helpful on your journey to happiness. You might be worried that this is a talk about spirituality. It's not. But you might just have a little more faith in the universe when we're done. It is, however, a story about challenge and resilience and the lessons that can help us all through inevitable difficult times, because that's life, right? Life is messy. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. We all will face great challenges in life: business failures, divorce, family dynamics, financial pressures, health issues. But science is proving that a few simple practices, and I call them happiness hacks, like hacking into a computer, can literally change your brain and therefore your outcomes. These practices are based on positive psychology and neuroplasticity and have been studied not just for personal happiness, but for business outcomes as well. I know our esteemed speaker, Joel Weldon, believes in the power of our thoughts because he ends each email and conversation with "make it a great day." He doesn't say, "I hope you bump into a great day today." He doesn't say, "I hope nothing bad happens to you today." No, he very firmly states every time, "make it a great day." And that's because he knows that your happiness is in your hands. In December of 2017, my husband Colin, my stepdaughter Bree, and I were headed to Cape Coral, Florida for our training at the Home Mag. We were nervous and excited to learn more about our new venture and find out just what it would take to open our new Cleveland franchise of the Home Mag. I had not been feeling my best, but I was excited about our new venture, and it was Florida, and it was very much December in Ohio. So off we went. By the time we arrived at Fort Myers Airport, I was declining fast. The next morning, I felt so poorly that I dropped Bree and Colin at the Home Mag, and I drove myself back to the hotel. I literally could not breathe. Some of you in this room, I know, remember that morning. And I'm sure most of you have visited Cape Coral for your own Home Mag training, so you can imagine that I must have been feeling pretty poorly to miss this crucial training. When I arrived at Lee Memorial Hospital in Fort Myers, I was rushed through triage and into the ER. It turns out if you can't breathe, you get preferential treatment. Finally, after much testing, the ER doctor with Grey's Anatomy good looks, but no bedside manner, came into my room and he said, "Barbara, I think you have cancer, and I think it's pretty bad. You should get home as soon as you can." And with a pat on the shoulder, he was off. I'm sure that many of you have been touched by cancer, either personally or with a close friend or a relative. How might you have felt in that moment, sitting in that room? I think I went through all of Helen Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief right there as I sat waiting for Colin to drive from the Home Mag in Cape Coral. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I think I got stuck pretty long on depression. But somewhere in that room, I knew that I had to decide how I was going to do this. We've all had moments in our lives where we've had to decide, who do I want to be in this moment? This was my moment. Fortunately for me, I had recently been steeping myself in the study of positive psychology and neuroplasticity. You see, earlier that year, the year of my 60th birthday, I had made a commitment to myself. I decided that I wanted to find a way to experience joy and happiness every day for the rest of my life, no matter what was swirling around me. So now it was time to put my money and perhaps my life where my mouth was. At home, I was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. I knew I had a road in front of me, but from the very beginning, I would not call it a battle. I called it a journey. I called it a diagnosis. At times, I even called it a blessing, but never, ever a battle. And I challenged myself to move through this process with as much positivity as I could muster. Hair loss, surgeries, weakness and fatigue. We all know the side effects of cancer treatment. Yet I remained determined to strive for positivity and optimism throughout. My treatment ended in May of 2018, and I was declared cancer-free. And then in February of 2019, my worst fear became a reality. I was re-diagnosed with cancer. This was a tough blow. No matter how hard I had worked on my happiness skills, I was not sure that I was ready to go through this treatment again. But I did do it again, and I finished the treatment in June. It is my belief that what I learned on this journey could help anyone. Don't worry, you don't have to have a life-threatening illness to find a way to bring more happiness and positivity into your life. We all need techniques to keep us going in the tough times, especially if you work in sales. And so these are my happiness hacks, the methods that I use every day, but especially on the darkest days. What do happy people do? What does happiness look like? Happiness is open-minded. Dr. Joe Dispenza, author and researcher on neuroscience and quantum physics, posits that neurorigidity is part of the reason we cannot move forward in our lives. Our thoughts, choices, behaviors, and emotional experiences are the same year after year after year. He states that thoughts lead to choices, choices lead to behaviors, behaviors lead to experiences, experiences lead to emotions, and those emotions lead right back to the same thoughts. However, if we can possibly think outside that box in our brain, we can literally change our brains. This is the science of neuroplasticity, the ability to take advantage of our brain's ability to adapt and change. This can be achieved by learning new things like a language or a new business, or quite simply, training yourself to think differently. But how do we get there? Happiness is grateful. Shawn Achor is a researcher at Harvard University and author of The Happiness Advantage. His research shows that professionals who were given positivity training before performing their work were more productive, better at sales, more creative, and more accurate in their work. In studying the effects of positivity on people, they learned that those who practiced gratitude daily experienced more happiness and greater success in both their personal and their professional lives. In this study, they found that if you take a few minutes each morning to write down 3 things for which you are grateful, 3 new things each day, not the same things every day over and over, and notate 1 positive experience for 21 days in a row, you can actually change your neural pathways. Happiness is not outcome-based. How many have said this one? I'll be happy if I can just lose 10 pounds. For me, that's true. I will really be happy if I can just lose 10 pounds. I'll be happy when the magazine gets to 36 pages. Okay, 40 pages. Okay, 40 pages and all the front and back covers sold. Then I can be happy. Now, we all want outcomes, and we want good outcomes. But the problem with outcome-based thinking, according to Achor, is that we're always moving the goalpost. We are taught by parents and teachers that if you work hard, you'll be successful. If you're successful, you'll be happy. And that is the basis of almost every business model, particularly sales. We hit a sales goal, we move the sales goal. So happiness is always on the other side of success. But the research shows that this thinking is broken and backwards. If success truly equals happiness, then business tycoons and movie stars would never use drugs and alcohol to treat their stress. Stars would never die of drug overdoses, or no one would need a shrink, because people would be happy. After all, if you're rich and you're famous, ergo you're successful, then you're happy. And conversely, little children living in Africa in conditions that I don't think any of us would even consider for glamping, camping, or roughing it, can be seen smiling, laughing, playing, and running. If this formula is correct, then the publishers of Denver, Broward County, Tampa, and Las Vegas should be really happy. And the rest of us, not so much. Happiness is also future-minded. Dr. Dispenza notes that most of our unhappiness stems from thoughts that are from our past hurts and fears and failures. His research shows that human beings think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts they had yesterday. One way to harness your thoughts might be to incorporate some meditation into your day. Now, you do not need to be a yogi or a spiritual master to want to add a little more positivity into your day. Meditation is simply allowing your mind to relax and be open. By following your breath, you can let go of tension and negativity and allow more positive thoughts to enter your brain. Sometimes I listen to a positive message or an affirmation for 10 minutes in the morning before my feet ever even hit the ground. Tell yourself a new story. Instead of focusing on the past, imagine what the future looks like that you're trying to create. What will it look like to have a successful magazine? What will it feel like to be fit? Can I see my body as completely healthy? If we can see it, we have a greater chance of attaining it. In addition, set up reasons to look forward to the future. Set a goal, plan a vacation, or maybe plan a gathering, because happiness is social. People who have strong social networks tend to live longer and have happier lives. Social relationships are some of the biggest investments you can make at work and at home. It will help you be more creative, more productive, and more resilient. Collaborations at work form bonds between coworkers and a better product for the client. Social events in your personal life create endorphins, make memories, and build loving feelings. I have been supported tremendously by friends, family, and many of you at the Home Mag. I can absolutely assure you that I would not be as strong as I am today without that support. Happiness gives back. Simply put, get out of yourself. On some of my worst days, when I was beginning to feel sorry for myself, I would simply get in the car, drive to a drive-through to get myself a cup of coffee or tea, and also buy some for the person in back of me. And that's a trend these days. A lot of people are doing this. It's amazing how powerful the shift is if you can simply pay it forward. Perhaps you could make it a habit to send a positive email to a coworker or a client each day. This not only lifts you up, but creates a positive culture within your company. Expressing gratitude to clients, friends, and family through a written note is a wonderful way to raise happiness levels for both the recipient and the writer, and I know Allie Atkins is a big promoter of this, and so am I. Many companies have begun the practice of arranging a day of giving back in their communities. Instead of being in the office, the group goes out to the community to volunteer their time as a team. As an added bonus, those positive feelings that are generated by giving back can last weeks and months after the actual event takes place. Happiness has a sense of humor. One day, Colin and I were at Starbucks, as is our ritual on the weekends. I had just lost my hair from chemo and decided to boldly go out without hair for sure, and without hat or scarf. As we sat sipping our drinks, a perky little Starbucks employee came by, and she recognized us as regulars, and she said, "Look at you, you look beautiful." I stood up and gave her a hug, and I said, "Oh, thank you." And I think I was probably self-conscious and touched my head and said, "It just came out yesterday." And she said, "Oh," she threw her arms around me and she said, "Congratulations, good for you." And she left. And I went, sat back down. Colin and I sat there for a few minutes, and I went, "Honey, I'm pretty sure she thinks that I just came out of the closet." Sometimes you just gotta laugh. Laughter triggers both physical and emotional changes in the body. It can strengthen your immune system and help you deal with stress. It truly is the best medicine, but please don't go around laughing all the time, because then people might just think you need a little medicine. that studies do, happiness moves. At our offices in Columbus, Bree leads Wellness Wednesdays. We want our associates to know that we care about their happiness, their well-being, and their fitness. Research shows that exercise can be as useful as antidepressants in lifting the mood. During a few days of treatment each month, I was lucky if I could muster the energy to take my dog Holly out for a walk around the block. Often I dreaded it, but I did it, and it helped me every time, no exceptions. And we all know about the endorphins that are released from exercise. It is always worth the investment of time. Happiness stands for positivity. Some of us are wired to be more positive than others, but even the most negative among us can raise their positivity levels. As business people, we are geared to look for pitfalls and problems. Deadlines, budgets, bottom lines, these all require critical thinking. However, the most productive outcomes rely on the ability to scan for the positive in our work, in our employees, and in the world around us. One of my favorite examples is the story of the princess and the frog prince. We are all taught to believe that the princess kisses the frog, and that's why he becomes a prince. But maybe that is not the way it really happens. Maybe she sees him as a prince, treats him as a prince, and then he actually becomes a prince. Now, I know it's just a fairy tale, but I believe there's a strong lesson here. Human beings, and I guess frogs too, all need to perform better when they have people that believe in them. Dr. Dispenza goes a step further. In his book, You Are the Placebo, he discusses the true phenomenon of the placebo effect. In a 1962 study, 13 children who were known to be allergic to poison ivy were rubbed on their forearms with 2 leaves. One was poison ivy, and they were told that it was a harmless leaf. On the other arm, they were rubbed with a harmless leaf, but they were told that it was poison ivy. Astoundingly, all 13 children developed a rash on the arm that was rubbed with a harmless leaf, but they thought was poison ivy. And 11 of the 13 of these allergic children did not react to the poison ivy when it was rubbed on the arm that they believed was a harmless leaf. Now, ethical reactions aside, I do not love the idea of rubbing children with poison ivy. This is an amazing testament to the placebo effect. And I can assure you that I see any medicine that I am taking as a super pill. I literally imagine myself taking or being infused with something that will make me superhuman, because I know that seeing myself as healthy matters. And perhaps it all leads to this. Happiness is a habit. It is learned and it is practiced. Gretchen Rubin, author of several books, including The Happiness Project, studies several individuals from different backgrounds to investigate their habits and their processes. One person cited is Christopher Alexander, a renowned architect and design theorist. Alexander suggests that there are a dozen or so habits that we all perform every day. Depending on whether these habits are good or bad, can shape our lives in a positive or a negative way. In The Power of Habit, Why We Do What We Do in Life and in Business, Charles Duhigg states that the automatic behaviors are controlled in the most primitive part of the brain called the basal ganglia. Within this part of the brain, we perform many tasks in our daily routines. A great example is backing the car out of the driveway. When you first learn to back the car out of the driveway, it's a very painstaking effort. You adjust your mirrors, put your foot on the brake, you shift into gear, and you inch out. But within weeks, maybe days, you're flying out of that driveway and going down the street. It literally becomes a no-brainer. And this is what scientists call chunking. Habits form as the brain's way to save effort. So in short, if you're going to build a habit, whether it's a physical habit or a thought habit, your brain will naturally repeat this habit. Maybe we should put a bit more effort into our thought habits. Willpower doesn't work. We know that because we're all still trying to lose that 10 pounds. Your mind will always fall back to old patterns and habits. That's why old bad habits need to be replaced with new good habits, including the thoughts we think. Today, my prognosis is good. I believe my happiness hacks have helped me in that prognosis. What I can tell you for sure is that they have changed my journey, and I think they can change yours. Albert Einstein stated that the most important decision we make is whether we believe that we live in a friendly or a hostile universe. This great scientist believed in the power of our thoughts. He believed that choosing the right thoughts was the most important thing we could do. And if it is true, if we literally are what we think, if our thoughts really can change our outcomes, why not choose a good one? Why not choose and practice happiness? So let's just end with this, and it'll only take one moment. Everybody put your pencils down, everything down on the table, feet on the floor. You can put your hands on your legs, spine straight, neck long, eyes closed. My eyes are closed too, so no one's watching you. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the power of the earth beneath your feet. Imagine a light of positivity and energy in the center of your body. Imagine that light coming from all the people around you in this room and from the whole hotel, Charlotte, the state, the world, the universe, all pouring into you with positivity, happiness, and energy. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to give it back. We're going to release that energy, that happiness, that positivity to the neighbors around you, to everyone in the hotel, to everyone in Charlotte, in the state, in the United States, all over the world, out into the universe. Inhale. Exhale. Now bring your focus back to your body. Relax your shoulders. Wipe that skeptic scowl off your forehead. Turn your mouth up at the sides into a little smile and open your eyes. Congratulations, you just meditated. Many of you for the first time, and I can see by looking at those smiles on your faces, you're all a lot happier.